Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Patricia Teffenhart. I'm the Senior Vice President of Strategic Initiatives with the New Jersey Chamber of Commerce. And I want to thank all of you for joining us for our very first Corporate Citizenship Lunch and Learn. This is the beginning of a series of discussions during which we will shine a light on community-based nonprofit organizations as just one part of our portfolio of initiatives dedicated to diversity and inclusion. As a frame of reference, together with the African American Chamber of Commerce of New Jersey, we are working to advance 5 strategic priorities as they relate to diversity and inclusion, including workforce, board, and supplier diversity, access to capital, and corporate citizenship, which is the topic about which we'll be discussing today. And I thought it might be nice if we started with our very own New Jersey Chamber of Commerce Foundation and their Jobs for America's Graduates program. As so many employers are contending with labor shortages, it felt like the right time to shine a light on the work of our foundation and our JAG staff and what they're doing to address talent pipeline issues and increase diversity in our workforce. And at the end, we'll discuss some ways others can join our efforts. So with that, let me introduce you to today's panelists, my colleagues Donna Custard, who is the president of the New Jersey Chamber of Commerce Foundation, and Dr. Sandra Strothers, the executive director of Jobs for America's Graduates New Jersey. Donna and Sandra, let me give you a minute to introduce yourselves before we dig into today's discussion. Donna, tell us a little bit about who you are. You can't unmute. Let's see. I'm asking you to unmute. There we go.
Thanks for the introduction, Patricia. I've been with the Chamber Foundation since 1997, so I'm just about to complete 25 years. I've got about 30 years of nonprofit experience, which includes not just the Chamber of Commerce Foundation, but the Boy Scouts of America, ETS, and the United States Peace Corps.
Great, thank you so much for being with us today. I'm so happy that I get to work with you and put a spotlight on your good work. Sandra, let's see if we can get you to unmute. It is a Friday afternoon, folks, and it is year 1 million of a pandemic, and we are still sometimes finding ourselves with some tech troubles. Here we go.
That's okay. Thanks so much, Patricia. Hello, everyone. I am Sandra Strothers. I am the executive director for JAG New Jersey. I've been in New Jersey for over almost 20 years, a little bit over. My work over the last 30 years has been with helping students meet equity goals. I started in higher ed, and I moved then to the Department of Education. I was there for almost 17 years, and then found my other passion through JAG. So it's great to be here.
Well, I'm thankful to have both of you here. In the true spirit of a lunch and learn, and in today's hectic, fast-paced world, right? We eat quickly, so we're going to talk quickly because we have a lot of really good content we want to cover. So we're going to dig in. I'd love I guess we could start with Donna. Tell us a little bit about the foundation. I think it is potentially new to some members of our audience that there even is a New Jersey Chamber Foundation. So I'd love if you could give us a little bit of background. How long have you been in existence? What do you do? And then we'll slide into some more details about JAG. Oh no, what is going on? It's like I have too much control. I have to keep asking you to unmute.
I'm going to stay unmuted from now on. So yes, the New Jersey Chamber of Commerce Foundation is the nonprofit arm of the state chamber. Lots of people don't know that we even exist. We were formed, as I mentioned, in 1996 as a direct result of the board of directors and members of the New Jersey Chamber of Commerce expressing the pain points that they had. The chamber thought perhaps it was infrastructure, taxes, insurance, but the number one issue that came to the forefront in a survey that was conducted was that employers are having a tough time finding qualified employees. So that was the purpose of the formation of the foundation. And we have been working with all different kinds of populations ever since the formation of the foundation. We've worked with students with disabilities, students who have a high risk of dropping out, students who do not have the same kind of opportunities in urban areas as their suburban peers. And when I was first introduced to the Jobs for America's Graduates program back in, I believe it was 2015, I didn't believe that such a program with such tremendous results even existed. And I was very interested in learning more. And that's when Dr. Strothers and I crossed paths. Long story short, we adopted the program, went through our board of directors to do so. And about a year after we brought the program to the foundation, we stole Sandra away from the Department of Education to spearhead it.
Well, and I think what's interesting is here we are all these years later, and still when we survey our members and we talk to our colleagues, workforce development is still the #1 issue that we're contending with. And so what's that saying? Everything that's old is new again, or same old, or same stuff, different day, whatever kind of terms we want to put onto it. You were right to have picked up the mantle on this issue way back when, and we're thankful that we still have you moving these conversations and these initiatives forward. So let's dig into it. Let's talk a little bit more about JAG. I know that both of you are incredibly fluent at discussing all of the details of JAG. I remember very clearly the very first phone call I had with you both as I was joining the team here at the Chamber. And I literally took about 5 pages worth of notes because there's not one detail that you don't know. And the passion and commitment that you have to building the talent youth pipeline is really obvious in a conversation with you. And I'm hoping that that can come through for those who are in attendance with us today. So Sandra, tell us what you do, how you do it, what's the magic, tell us about the secret sauce, but also we'd love to hear some of the real true obstacles and challenges that you experience.
Sure. So this is going to be tough. It's an amazing program and it's my passion and a number of others. So bear with me and reel me in as I start to discuss the program. We are part of a national program that is over at this point 40 years old, has served 1.5 million students. We are in 40 states, of which, of course, New Jersey is one of those states. What JAG basically does is take students and really help them hone their skills, talent, and abilities as a part of a class that occurs in most cases in schools and sometimes in community organizations. The program is run by a teacher, a full-time certified teacher that we call a JAG specialist. And what they do is have them exposed to what we call project-based learning. That's the instructional strategy, but there's a co-curricular piece to it too that includes having employers be a part of this effort, not only in the classroom through guest speaking and job shadowing, but training, some mock interviewing, and all the way to talent pipeline development. So students have these opportunities, not only as they see and experience these professionals, but have those opportunities once they graduate. One part of the program that really resonates with me is that there's a leadership component. We understand the students that we work with, but with my being in the program for about 10 years, we recognize that there's a lot of untapped potential. And so the leadership component involves students having the ability to hone their leadership skills, learn how to run programs, do community service, run meetings, set agenda, be able to have a voice and choice in what it is that they're experiencing as a part of this overall JAG program. So in a nutshell, we take the students from where they are and what they have, and we build in these projects that hone these much needed employability skills in terms of public speaking, presentations, being able to build presentations, project management, program development. We put all those things together, and of course, resume and interviewing. And as they grow through the program, we find that the outcomes not only speak for themselves in terms of numbers, but what we've been able to see with our very eyes throughout the decade that I've been in the program, and others have seen it as well. So it's
I'm gonna ask you to tell us a little bit more about what you've seen, because anyone who had the fortune to be at our diversity dinner that we held at the Pines Manor in November. Had an opportunity to see some of your graduates in action. And I will say, we had the good privilege over the last quarter of last year of highlighting a wide variety of community-based organizations that were really working at the intersections of youth development and anti-racism and really elevating the profile of historically underserved and marginalized communities. But when the JAG graduates took the stage, they took down the house. Like they really were the stow shoppers for everyone. So tell us a little bit more about the growth you see in students over time. I feel like I had just a small opportunity to witness that based off of the stories you told me about the students I had the privilege of meeting. And I think that's one of the real heart pieces that resonates with folks.
Sure, let's start with an outcome. I believe it's a class of 2021. That class secured over $2.6 million worth of scholarships. And again, think about the students that we bring in and participate in the program. On an individual level, there was one student early in my time with JAG, was in a particular family situation, and her outcome ended up not only graduating, but getting a scholarship, going to college and graduating from college. We do have our first NFL player that comes out. One of the students that you saw at the diversity dinner is now at NJIT. Everybody doesn't go to NJIT, okay? And other schools around the state, Stockton, Rutgers, and the like. So our students come in really being able to flourish with the coaching and the development from those specialists.
So let's talk about the specialists a little bit, because I think, just as a frame of reference, my background, I've also spent my career in the nonprofit arena. And I know that sometimes when you've got something good, people think like, oh, I can do that. I can just sort of pick that up and I can do the same thing. And I know that the details that make JAG so successful are really important, and the specialists are a really key part of that. So can you give us a little bit of detail about who are the JAG specialists and what role do they have? Because that, I think, is one of the things that makes this program desirable, but not easily replicable, which means you've got something really special here.
Yeah, they are our superheroes. They make the magic happen in the classroom. We ask so much of them. Not only do they instruct, they also coach. They provide supports and referrals and resources on a regular basis with the students. So not only are they just coming in and delivering content, they are working with students one-on-one. Some who have graduates are working with our graduates to make sure that they have the resources to maintain employment, stay in college, make sure their financial aid is set. They work overtime and on overdrive all the time. Our meetings, we talk a lot about the kinds of things that they should deliver to the students, the resources that they should give them, and our specialists turn it around each and every time. Even in this space of COVID, they never stop the momentum. As a matter of fact, Donna and I have had to balance that, making sure that because of their passion, that we were balancing their wellness. They are that connected and that motivated and committed to our students. In terms of selection of that specialist, we do talk to our districts and the organization that we work with. Everybody, as you said, can, it's going to be tough to be one of those superheroes. So we ask that the district really look at who is the go-to teacher, in this case, in that high school, always one or two. And we want that person that was actually halfway into JAG before they signed on to JAG, right? Who's going to go the extra mile. Luckily, with our partnership with the Chamber Foundation, we've been able to add incentives and rewards and recognition for all of the work that they, as you saw at a diversity dinner. So we're fortunate to have a stellar team. Many of them who have won national awards for their work and their outcomes as well.
That's excellent.
Patricia, it's important to note that the JAG specialists don't stop during the academic year. They are required as part of this program to do follow-up services for the students 12 months after they graduate. So that's another piece of this program that makes it truly unique in that we track our students, we gather hundreds of data points on each and every one of them because we want to ensure that they have these positive outcomes of pursuing post-secondary education, whether it's NJIT, Rutgers, or trade schools. All of that is valuable. Not just post-secondary education, but employment opportunities or service in the military.
I mean, we got an NJIT fan in the audience today. Francisco is one of our attendees, and he's doing the NJIT plug over and over. I mean, it's a good thing my spouse, who graduated from Stevens, is working in his office today. Otherwise, there might be a little bit of a rumble of good competition going on. I like it. And I want to sort of point out that this isn't just by luck, right? That there's so much rich research that goes into youth development and community connectivity and connectivity back to your school, and how all of those things intersect to create youth that can defy all odds, youth that have incredible opportunity. And sometimes it is just that connection with a specialist or with Sandra or Donna, and we know that there are teachers that exist in schools all across the state that are not even yet JAG. And our goal, I believe, is have every one of those schools have a JAG program. Every school has at least that one teacher that everyone can resonate with. In my school, it was our German teacher. And we had kids who were taking Spanish that were still meeting with a German teacher because everybody knew that he was that guy, the guy who you could talk to about your real world issues, and he would lift you up and support you whether or not you were in his class. And so as we start to think about the time crunch that we're under, and that it's at 12:22, and we're going to be cognizant of time, I'm hoping that what we're able to do is spend a couple of minutes talking about how can other folks get involved, right? The benefit, I think, of having JAG be a part of the Chamber Foundation, the Chamber Foundation be a part of our Chamber community, is that we have access to tremendous professionals all across the state that are both philanthropically inclined, but also prime candidates to mentor and hire the students as they move through their career path. So how can anyone who's on here today, and as we share this out afterwards, how can people get involved?
So Sandra's still muted. I'll jump in on the Career Development Conference. I do all the employer engagement. So a lot of what Sandra was talking about with having mentors come into the classroom, whether it's in person or virtually, all of that filters through me. We've developed really strong strategic partnerships with our partners, whether they're another nonprofit or a for-profit organization, because it's important to provide exposure for the students. What careers are in demand? What are the pathways to get to those careers? It may be a circuitous route, but we want our students to have all of that information so that they are armed when they graduate with lots of opportunities and lots of decisions to make, so that it's not being thrust upon them. They can actually take ownership of their future. The easiest way to get involved is our Career Development Conference, which takes place every May. I put a link in there. It's an Eventbrite registration form. This year it's taking place virtually, unfortunately, but we will be bringing together over 100 students to compete in 11 different events where they will showcase the skills that they've been developing throughout the year. Sandra touched upon some of those: presentation, public speaking. There will be an entrepreneurship event, banner, video, photograph. There's all different kinds of competitive events. We need business judges. We need folks to volunteer, whether it's an hour, or a couple of hours, half a day, or even the full 2 days, May 9th and 10th, so that they can have some exposure directly to the students. You'll be with a group of other folks. We also provide some training the week before so that you know what's going on and you know how to score the rubric and come to consensus. Beyond that, if folks can't attend that, they can certainly get in touch with us, and I'll post our contact information in the chat momentarily, so that if you want more information about JAG, you can contact either Sandra or myself, and we're happy to hop on a Zoom or a phone call and discuss ways in which we can work together.
Yeah, and very, very quickly, I know we're at time. Not only are we building at the state level, but we're building the program locally with each of the specialists in their particular places. So we have 11 programs. They're in Passaic, Newark, New Brunswick, Carteret, Little Egg Harbor Township, and Vineland. And what we ask the specialists to do is to develop their own set of employer partners locally. So they're ready, set, go with pipeline development. They can move the students from graduation to employment, career, or other opportunity. And we ask the same thing for them to do that in terms of college opportunities as well, and admission. So not only are we building at the state level with the prowess of the Chamber Foundation, but we're asking our specialists to do the same thing locally.
We have 5 minutes left, and I know we have lots of different things that we could talk about. What do you think, both of you, is the greatest challenge and, right, every challenge is also an opportunity. What is the greatest challenge and opportunity ahead for either JAG as a program or for the students with which you work?
I'll go first.
This one.
I'll give it a try. Thank you. One is programmatic. We have a lot of interest in the JAG program from our districts, but we have to be mindful of going to scale with that interest in bringing on new programs. There's a lot of upwork that's involved in it. There's a lot of training. There's a lot of information that needs to be learned about the JAG infrastructure and matching that infrastructure with that particular school or organization. And so we start to get calls about we want to have a JAG program, we want to have a JAG program. We have to balance with the fact that we have a mighty team of 3. I see Mrs. Stager that's on the line as well. We right now wear several hats. And as we grow, we want to grow at the same level of quality and even better as we bring on more sites. And so we're trying to find ways strategically to not only expand in terms of sites, but expand in terms of our management level. Very quickly, the other challenge I see, especially in COVID, is balancing content delivery and the skill development with student wellness. There's a component of the program that's called trauma-informed care and instruction, and that seems pretty serious, but even at the level of students being able to handle the newness of being challenged with adulthood and the kinds of skills that we want them to build on. In COVID, having them, make sure that there's self-care and there's a balance in between what it is that we're trying to teach them and how we're trying to skill build with, addressing and being attentive to their basic needs. So I see those 2 pieces as a challenge.
And Donna, I want to give you a second to respond as well, but I just want to thank you for being focused on the whole student. I know, we know as professionals and as adults, the impact the pandemic has had on us, and as employers, we see the impact it has on our workforce, and building the capacity of young people to be able to take care of themselves will make them more well-rounded professionals moving forward. And that's not a skill that's often taught in school, particularly in rigorous academic competitive environments. So again, I think that just speaks volumes to how much care goes into the facilitation of the program and for the students that have an opportunity to be working with all of you. Donna.
So to piggyback off of what Sandra was saying, as we grow, we want to maintain the high quality standards that we've implemented. We know what works in New Jersey. We have our own formula that's been very successful. We have graduated 93 to 100% of the students who have passed through the program. In the schools where they reside, these students, their non-JAG peers, have graduated during that same time period at a rate of 36 to 88%. So our kids are out-graduating their non-JAG peers by significant margins. So we want to maintain that quality. I think one of the tremendous opportunities we have, and this puts on my employer engagement hat, is this is an untapped resource of human capital. These kids are bright, they are resilient, they are tenacious, they are coming out with a set of 37 core competencies that every employer should want. And I would say that, if you're interested in tapping into this pool, please contact us. The caveat I would provide with that is understanding who we serve. So about 85 to 88% of our kids are low income. So the challenge that we face with employment with our students is transportation tends to be the biggest challenge. If employers are creative, especially when recruiting young adults, in how transportation can be provided, that can open up a realm of possibilities for tapping into a tremendous pool of talent.
Thank you for that. And I think that also speaks to the intersection of all of these issues, right? We can't address a workforce shortage without addressing transportation challenges. And, you know, I think folks across the country look at a state like New Jersey, and we know we can drive from top to bottom, south to east, or north to west, or wherever we need to go in relatively short time in comparison to other places across the country. Yet we do still have a public transportation infrastructure that's severely lacking, particularly if you are anywhere outside of an urban center. And so we know that's where a lot of our employers are housed. We know that they are, you know, along the corridor on Route 1 or over in Somerset County, where a lot of the pharmaceutical companies are. And those are just not really accessible. But if we work together, we can brainstorm ways to address those challenges and create more opportunities. We are at our time, my wonderful colleagues. I want to thank you both, and our dear colleague Jennifer, who is joining us today also as a participant from our Chamber Foundation team, for the work that you do every day. It's a pleasure to have you as part of our Chamber staff and our Chamber colleagues. And I'm thankful that we were able to kick off this whole series by putting a spotlight on the great work that you do. For those of you who are in attendance today, we will send a follow-up email with a link to this recording. We'll include all of the great information that Donna has put in the chat box about where to follow the foundation and the JAG team on social media, how to get more involved. I'll include their email addresses. And as always, as we've been saying for the last 2+ years at this point, please stay safe, take good care of yourselves, enjoy your weekend. You've all worked hard and you deserve some time off. So take good care of yourselves. We'll see you soon. Thank you again.
Thanks, Patricia. Thanks, everybody, for participating.
Thank you. Thank you all for your time.
Bye-bye.